first round pick. Hey, throw that list away. All right.
Why are we around? Let
Yo, welcome to the show. It's a Chiefs Blitz night. Breaking down the plays, keeping everything tight. From Mahomes to the defense, we give you the scoop. Real talk, real stats, we the ultimate troop. This ain't no game, it's our passion on display.
the baby himself.
Chiefs Blitz podcast, real fans unite. Every touchdown scored, we ignite the night. From tailgate chatter to post-game debate, we love our Chiefs, yes, never too late.
I would even bring MVS back in the middle of the season.
What? Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar, sponsored by ChiefsBlitz.com, presented by UnderdogFantasy.com. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
All righty, welcome to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar. I am your host, Nick Athan, along with Mr. Hense Todd, Mr. Lou Montagna, and the anonymous Mango is no longer anonymous, wearing number 71 to go off for a good friend.
I was going to say, Coach is looking a little pale today.
What's that?
Coach is looking a little pale today.
Yeah, Coach is looking a little pale today. Very pale. All good, all good. All right, we're here on Wednesday, July 9th. Training camp starts in less than 2 weeks. The quarterbacks will show up and the rest of the team will follow. And it's going to be an exciting time because football is back. So before we get into today's show, let's bring in our sponsor, Underdog.
Baseball is back.
That's right. Baseball is back on Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you cash in today. You can play the pick'em game, very similar to what we did with the NFL. We're doing the Chiefs stuff. Now it's all about baseball, and especially the Royals. You can go higher or lower. It's really simple to use. Their app is amazing. You just choose your entry fee. You decide what you want to play, and you just see the winnings coming if you know what you're doing. So take a swing today and make sure that you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, and they're going to give you a meatball right off the gamut, Bobby Wood Jr. special. So start with a W for your first entry and new customers. Make sure you use the code Chiefs Blitz.
That's right, Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that code Chiefs Blitz. We make it easy around here. You just hit the QR code on the right, and it goes right to our location on their site. Put in the promo code Chiefs Blitz. Deposit $5, play $5, and you get $50 in bonus money. WNBA is hot. Major League Baseball is hot. Hey, the Royals started looking like a real baseball team the last few days. And Jack Caglione hit his first home run at Kauffman Stadium yesterday. So that's great news for Kansas City fans. But this is your one-stop games, fun store, app, whatever it is. I'm still on the positive. And that's saying something.
A real jack, Nick. A real jack.
Didn't have a lot of height. But, man, it got out fast.
Well, hey, baseball,
Exit velocity is a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Just get the ball over the fence. I don't care how it goes.
Yeah. Well, thank everybody for joining in. Thank you guys for sharing and liking and, everything you guys do on the end. And also, like Nick said, we are, 13 days away from training camp. It's going to be kicking off here pretty soon. So it's going to be a lot to be getting into, a lot of battles to be watching. A lot of eyes are going to be on number 71 that Mango is repping today. A lot of people is going to be eyes on this kid. A lot of everybody's, and it's a lot of shoes he got to fill over there because a lot of open spots that was there before he got there. So we think he's the key answer. The Chiefs think he's the key answer. I know some people in the chat don't think he's the key answer.
Well, there's one.
People.
There's one.
It's one. His name Kareem. But again, we 13 days away. I know there's one thing that they changed about the training camp. I thought they were just everybody was reporting at once.
I'm sorry, they are. They are reporting all at once. This is the first time in league history that all the teams are doing it the same way. They'll come in the first day. They'll bring in their stuff, their beds. They'll get set up in the camp. They'll go through physicals, and then they'll probably go through team meetings in the second day and on the third day. They're probably going to be out in the field, not in pads. Usually, Annie waits 4, 5, 6 days for them to put on the pads for the first time. So the first week
CBA mandated, Nick. I think there's a ramp up period to wearing pads.
Yeah, I didn't want to go down that road, but I hear
it's just the way it is, man.
And hold on, everybody check out Lou.
There's
Hey,
rules.
Lou's got a nice cut.
Nice cut.
Had to be done. I think that may be my longest stretch in a long time. Maybe like over 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah. The snow finally melted, so he was able to get out of the house.
Get the shearing.
I seen
the sheep shears out. Sorry.
I seen all the ladies locked up around the door looking for Lou. I said,
it's constant over here. And, I got security outside. It's a thing.
But yeah, like you said, it's a new thing that the league's going to start. So we don't got to wait to see all the rookies are going to be in this. But okay, I know training camp is kicking off before we kick off with the rest of the show. What's the key thing that y'all looking for? Like somebody that's going to arrive, who going to make a opening statement for their grand entry to training camp?
Ooh.
Who is going to be that guy?
The Shermanator.
Are you talking about just as
the walk
they show up?
Camp? Yeah,
show up.
It used to be Sherm, right? I mean, Anthony Sherman. Every year it was different. When he came in, like the United States, like Star Spangled Banner wrestling singlet, and he rides in a pickup truck. Yeah, that was pretty neat. I don't know. Does anybody who's got the biggest personality? Everybody seems to be like strictly business, low key anymore.
I think maybe Gardner Minshew is going to have something about him.
Maybe come in jorts, flip flops,
absolutely,
tank top.
But
that's his normal look. I mean, that'll just be normal for me. I don't know that anybody. Really...
I think it had to be Travis Kelce. If it's gonna be his final year, I think he's gonna do something. Dramatic. He probably have, maybe Taylor Swift drops him off.
Yeah,
drops him off. Wouldn't that be great? In his Chevelle convertible, that would be absolutely amazing.
Like mom dropping the kid off at camp.
I love that idea. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, the St. Joe's would burn down.
I'm with Kenny. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is gonna don something special. He's already got the multicolor hair going, and I think he would be. I think he's going to be that guy. I mean, I miss Dustin Colquitt, and I miss the offensive linemen carrying their mattresses in, in the old days. But
TV with the butt on the back.
Yeah,
little thing on the back. What was y'all most? I know you and Lou seen a lot of guys at training camp. What was y'all most experience about? Like seeing the most significant moment or history moment that was made at a training camp that you remember?
I will tell you exactly what that was. When Tyreek Hill entered his first training camp, I will never forget the first pass and the speed in which he ran down the field. And I said to everybody around me, that is the fastest player I have ever seen at the wide receiver position. And I've been around a long, long time. Mm-hmm. And so I went on Dr. Roto's show like 2 weeks after the opening of camp. And he said, who's going to be the surprise guy? And I said, watch out for a guy by the name of Tyreek Hill. He's the fastest human being I've seen on a football field in my entire life. And I'm telling you, this kid's going to be special. And of course, he had a solid rookie year. He was even better in his second year. And, he went from a guy who was returning punts and kicks to from running back to wide receiver. He taught himself how to run routes. He worked a lot with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and they created one of the best 1-2 dynamics in Chiefs history. But for me, that was I will never forget that. I mean, my eyes were like, I cannot believe a human being can run that fast.
Yeah, shout out to Kenny Williams in Nebraska also for being like a personal tutor to Kareem and many other wide receivers. And I think it'd be a good idea for any number of the younger guys that we have now. I don't know about a special moment, but I just thought it was pretty cool back in the day. And Nick probably went up there a few times when they played in River Falls. And I think you had the Vikings and the Packers. They had the Cheese League up there. And I think the joint practices. And again, the coverage wasn't nearly what it is now. So you never saw it on TV. But after the fact, I'm sure Nick wrote about it, whatever, and some of the dust ups that would happen during the course of those joint practices. But yeah, they had like 4 or 5 teams that would go. I think didn't the Saints go up there?
The Saints were up there too. So it was the Saints, Packers, Chiefs, and Vikings.
Yeah, so it was a much different dynamic. I mean, seriously, getting away for camp, right? Because that was it was what, 2-3 states away.
Yeah, it was a lot cooler in Wisconsin, and it was great because you were away from it. Now, Minneapolis was about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away. So a lot of people went into Minneapolis, and St. Paul was a little closer. And they often took road trips to get out of there. But I remember when the Chiefs and the Vikings had a practice, and Jared Allen had just been traded to the Vikings. And they wouldn't let him practice that game or let him do in the scrimmage. So he basically stand on the sidelines. But the Chiefs and the Vikings got into a couple of skirmishes, and Dick Vermeil said, "The heck with it," or I think it was Herm Edwards said, "The heck with this, we're done." And he closed it a day early. They were supposed to practice for 2 days, and he closed it a day early because he thought there were going to be some fist fights. So, they don't do that as much anymore. I think a few teams do some scrimmages against one another.
Typically, a lot of times if teams are playing like on a Thursday or Friday night or like a Saturday during the preseason, the other team might go in a few days before and so forth. A lot of teams really just use their own facilities anymore. There's only a handful of teams that typically go away for camp. But I was just thinking about something earlier when you brought that up, Hense, and going back like into the 70s or whatever. I mean, they didn't have I don't know that there was OTAs or anything like that. So it seemed like camp lasted forever. I mean, at a certain point, they were playing six preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
And people are bitching about playing 3. We got to knock this down. But it was always 20 games, right? Yep. They play 14 regular season, but it was 6. And then as it changed, they always kind of take it to 20 games. So I think, in terms of the next step of playing 18 and 2, the number of games really hasn't changed. It's just kind of more regular season games, more money, in other words, for the owners. And so
you forth. Young pups don't know what it was like. They would go to training camp to get in shape. They didn't work out in the off season.
Like I said, like at the beginning of July, they were in camp, and they're, this is pre, big time labor deals where they were in pads on a regular basis. And the stories about Vermeil when he went to the Eagles, and just everybody, every team, that was just, the way of life in the NFL. So, but a couple of $1 billion, settlement for concussions and a lot of other things. Things change.
There's a lot of heat strokes that I remember, seeing. But my a glory moments was seeing Fitzgerald when Chiefs had padded practices with it was Fitzgerald and Arizona Cardinals. I don't remember, was it Andy Reid that was running that camp? It was the last time they had like a joint practice. It was the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They did do that.
Yeah, there's the last. I like seeing that because it gives other fans, it brings other fan bases in, and I think they need to go back to Andy Reid need to bring more, let other teams come in as well.
Yeah, I think he pretty much made a decision at a certain point that those weren't good for him in his camp. So
because got hurt.
I don't think you'll ever see him do it again. Now, again, other teams we've talked about it, and especially if the coaches have a relationship. So,
yeah. So, what do you have for us today? For
my goodness, do I have a Chief who for today? We are back to the current Chiefs. So it'll be somebody that's on the 90-man roster today.
90-man, that's your clue.
And for those of you that are uninitiated to the greatest game on YouTube, Chief Who, listen up. I am going to read a series of concocted clues. Each of them will bring you closer to this particular Chief. It'll be about his previous existence in football. It'll be his previous existence in life. But here we are. Let's go. Tear the Band-Aid off. I don't think Kareem's here, so I think this should go smoothly. Here we go. Clue number 1. This Chief, actually, the high school he attended is a storied high school basketball power. where he was a 4-star recruit in football, but his high school is a very historical basketball school. He had offers among his offers going into college were from Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and the school he eventually chose. His pro day numbers would have ranked him in his position group 1st, 4th, and 5th at the combine if he had attended. Clue number 4. He chose his happy place to go to college. And finally, last clue, he was quoted going into the draft, "I know I should be drafted."
Oh, okay.
Go, Mango.
So there you have it. Those are the clues. Let's give the peanut gallery a chance before the panel jumps in. We have no
Kenny,
offers yet. Demikio, anybody else out there? Ruben, have I seen Ruben out there? Kareem, come on, somebody wake him up. I'll go through them one more time, and then we'll give you all our panel a chance. So first off, his high school that he attended is known primarily as a basketball power for years. He's a 4-star recruit in football. His offers were Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, among many others, but those are the top three, and then also the one that he chose. His numbers at pro day for the 40, vertical jump, and bench press would have ranked him in his position group 1st, 4th, and 5th. He chose his happy place to go to college. And then finally, he's quoted as saying, "I know I should be drafted." So,
Kenny says Hicks. Jaden
Hicks. Jaden Hicks, I'm assuming. Yes.
No,
it is not Jaden Hicks.
All right, we'll let the young guy go first. Mango, go for it.
I'm not cheating,
Mango,
by
he's
the way. I'm not
cheats.
cheating. I'm texting. Don't worry, I'm not cheating.
Nah.
My partner just texted me.
Demikio says Leo. It is not Leo Chanel, but good guess.
All right, go for it, Mango.
Can I go last?
All right, that's fine.
Because I think I know who it is based off of
He's
the quote.
coming out of his skin. He can't wait to say it.
All right, Hans, you go first.
Hensley, you got to guess.
Well, it's a current Chiefs, so I had to say my gut is telling me Jeffrey Bosa, whatever his name.
Ooh.
Not bad. It
That's
was not
a really
Jeffrey
good
Bosa.
guess, actually.
Okay, basketball power and happy place. Those are the two keys, and so I'm trying to figure out. I'm assuming it's a blue blood school. Would be my guess. But I have no clue who it is.
All right, here we go. The moment you've all been waiting for.
Imagine if it's
Mango.
wrong now. Imagine if I'm wrong. Well, Hense, you said Jeffrey Bosa. If you take those initials, is it Jake Brinningstool?
It is not Jake Brinningstool.
Ooh. Oh.
All right, so this week's Chief Who is none other than Keziah Izzard, the defensive tackle from Penn State. He went to high school at DeMatha Catholic in Maryland. Let's see, he ran 4.81, jumped 33.5 at 25 reps at his pro day. He was not invited to the combine. He chose his happy place. Of course, if you lived near me, you know exactly that's Happy Valley, and that's State College.
Right.
And then finally, that was his quote. "I know I should be drafted," but like I said, he was not invited to the combine, and many of the services had him really lowly regarded. Again, he went to Penn State kind of hyped, like I said, 4-star recruit. Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, everybody wanted this kid, and he was good, but I don't think he quite reached where they expected him to. But I think he's got a legitimate shot at making the team. So there you have it. This week's Chief Who, Keziah Izzard, number 93 from Penn State.
There you go. Rick.
Chief Blue, of course, brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy Sports.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Let's go.
Hey, but Kareem, if we ain't doing it all over again if you enter in like you did last time, and he came in last time, we started all the way over. So that's all him,
Yes,
sir.
the cat is out of the bag.
So let's get right into it.
Let's
So
do
we got a heck of a statement we want to get into for the on the road environments
On the road again.
for the Kansas City Chiefs. So what you go ahead and go over the statement for me, Lou?
Okay, so does the international game in Brazil create a unique atmosphere for the Chiefs and Chargers? Mango's in the hot seat today.
You're in the hot seat, Mango. You go first.
Well, shit. All right. Then.
Leading off.
I mean, I believe so. This is the first time we've played in Brazil, correct?
Yes.
Like,
We played
last
in
year was the
Mexico,
first
I think.
Yeah.
yeah, we have. Yeah. I mean, and obviously, there's going to be quite a few of the South American fans down there, and those guys are absolutely batshit. So I'm definitely expecting it to be a very different atmosphere from what you'd anticipate at like the games in the US. But I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to favor one team more than the other. It's a new environment for both teams that they're going into. So yeah, I definitely think it does create a unique atmosphere, and I'm very excited to see how that affects the game.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I think that, you know, I love the international games and the foreign soil games. I think they're fun to watch. I think it's a great atmosphere. Obviously, it helps the NFL, you know, increase its brand, which is the bottom line here. And the Chiefs are the top draw in the NFL right now. So anything you can do to them in another area of the world, you know, you're going to see more Chiefs fans there than you're going to see, you know, their opponents. So I think it is a unique atmosphere because, you know, I thought Brazil did a really good job last year, you know, with the Eagles and the Packers. And I thought it was outside of the field. Now, supposedly they have redone the field, so we don't have the concerns that we used to have. You know, what happened at the end of that game last year with Jordan Love and getting hurt in the second to last play of the game. But I think it's a good way to you know, get the NFL to create pockets around the world that love the game. And, you know, the Super Bowl is the most watched game in the land. And so to do it in Brazil for the Chiefs and to do it week one, I think is a huge benefit to honestly to both the Chiefs and the Chargers because they get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, the biggest thing is the travel because,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how many time
like 9 hours, I think.
Time zones away it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Chargers is going to be a little bit longer trip. I don't know how much difference that's going to make. But typically with these destination games, that's the big part of it. It kind of upsets the routine, if you would, of the season. But as Nick mentioned, it's the first game. Right. So there's not it's not like you're trying to pack all this stuff into a week when you're coming off a Sunday game and trying to get there by Thursday. You know, are they going to fly out on Wednesday? Are they going to fly out on Tuesday? You know, you got to decide all those things. But it's the same for both teams. So the biggest and the other part of this, not just outside of the travel, is just that it is only the second time they're playing in Brazil. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have, you know, fans of all 32, right? You're going to have people that just want to see something other than a soccer game. And so that, again, it's not a huge advantage for either team. Maybe there'll be more Chiefs fans there than Chargers fans. Hell, there's more Chiefs fans when they play in LA than there are Chargers fans. So you got to believe that that'll hold true into Brazil. But yeah, should be an interesting thing, you know, great experience for the guys. And especially, you know, I mean, the big names are going to, you know, Patrick is, you know, internationally known, all the commercials and everything that he's done. Travis with obviously his girlfriend and everything else about Travis, people know who he is. So it'll be a nice week for the guys.
I'm liking this. You know, I think it's going to be unique for this. You know, in the Chargers and you know, the Chiefs, because you know these are the Chiefs are the team right now, America's team, and some people probably say the Chargers are the up and coming team between them and the Broncos and the division right now. So the NFL guides to put this on the schedule for the Kansas City Chiefs right there in Brazil. What you know what I mean? So I feel like this is going to be a thing that you know that can showcase the Chiefs much more, and you know Taylor Swift added on to the you know the band and everything else. You're going to take the band on the road, and sometimes you got to take the band on the road, and that's what they're going to do here with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm can't wait for it. I'm actually ready. You know, can't wait for this game in Brazil. I'm ready for it to kick off. Training camp is 13 days away. And now we got, you know, you got the game in Brazil.
We're 2 months away from the start of the season.
Friday Night Lights in the NFL, man.
Love it.
To answer your question, Sao Paulo at the time of the game will only be 2 hours ahead of Kansas City.
Okay, that's good.
Right. So it's kind of, I think it's basically the Eastern time zone, because that's that's the same for me. So that'll, for the Chargers, that's you know maybe like that's a 3 hour difference for them.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, let's get into the next question. Luke, can you go ahead and knock that for?
All right,
it stayed on.
Let's go to number 2.
What a brilliant question! I've never seen it before.
That's awesome.
It went straight to that
the
one.
Chiefs are going to Brazil. They will be a kicking off.
There it is.
So wow, a lot of words. You're really testing me here.
Did we fit them all on the screen?
Considering the Bills' recent playoff history against the Chiefs, has Highmark Stadium become the most historically hostile environment for Kansas City?
All right, Mango, lead us off.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, if we're considering playoff history, the last time the Chiefs played a playoff game at Highmark Stadium, we won.
Bills lost.
But regular season last year, we lost there. But, you know, that's just how it works. I don't think the you know, like the fan base that in Buffalo is actually as bad as people say. And I don't think, from my perspective of watching the games, I don't think that it was as a big as hostile environment as some people, you know, make it out to be. Personally, so I wouldn't say so. You know, just from because I've not been there personally, I can only say what I'm seeing on the TV. But I wouldn't say so in my personal opinion. But you guys might have different opinions.
Well, let me tell you a little story about the fans in Buffalo. In 1993, the Chiefs and the Bills were playing in the AFC Championship game. I think it was the Bills' 4th attempt to go 4 straight years to the Super Bowl. And some friends of mine went, and they got the cheap seats up top. And the Bills fans were pretty bad. And then one guy decides to take a pee on a Chiefs fan on his red and gold jacket. And so there you go. The bar is set pretty low. You know, I think when you look at the snowballs from a couple of years ago, that was pretty great. And, you know, Drew Tranquil and Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes. Tranquil was the best because he just catch snowballs and throw them right back. You know, listen, they are steep in losing big time games, and they haven't broken that barrier. I mean, to go to 4 straight Super Bowls, commendable. It's only happened. They're the only team that's gone 4 straight. They lost all 4. A couple of those they probably should have won, but the ball just didn't bounce their way. But for the fans, kind of like we were for 50 years, you know, disappointment after disappointment. But now they have expectations. They have hope. And they're still 0-4 against the Chiefs in the postseason in the Mahomes era. And they'll be 0-5 this year. So Highmark, I think, has replaced Denver. I think there was actually Oakland. Oakland was the worst environment, and Mile High Stadium was probably a close number 2. But I think Buffalo is by far the most hostile place in which the Chiefs will play in the Mahomes era.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ain't nothing like the black hole, though.
Where
Mahomes era.
where I'm situated is kind of a unique place. Within 100 miles, I've got the Bills, the Browns, and the Steelers. So our little corner of PA, there's a pretty decent split among those three teams. Mostly Steelers, I would say. Browns are up there just from a historical perspective, and then Bills. Yeah, the Bills absolutely hate the Chiefs, everything about the Chiefs, and will go out of their way to tell you that. So I think the fan experience in terms of what the Chiefs encounter when they go on the road, that I believe it is probably going to be the worst. Just because of the playoff history, the fact that they believe that they've been wronged in a couple different situations, and just they're envious on top of everything else. So
sure they are.
But I think they're really a good fan base. But just from a hostile perspective, even though it's not a division game, they play every single year, it seems like, and it's twice, normally regular season, postseason. And the ones where they get fired up, they win in the regular season. Then they get to the postseason, can't figure out why they can't beat this team. So, yeah, to me, I believe this is very, very hostile in terms of ranking them the top.
Yeah, I'd agree with Lou. You know what I mean? Because they, well, in Baltimore as well, you know what I mean? They have ranked these two teams, you know what I mean? The Chiefs and the Baltimore, and the Buffalo Bills. They ranked these three teams together, since my home era started. These three teams have been playing against each other. These teams have been going against each other. So ranked it, looking at all the other stadiums, this got to be far. The snowballs getting thrown at Mahomes. That would always be an image in my head. That as well. So I just say this got to be the top of the line right there. The Buffalo Bills. Could they replace the black hole? For the for the Chiefs back in the day with the Oakland Raiders? I don't think so, but on the verge of there, yes, I think they the one of the top two teams that actually can get it.
And Taylor Swift intentionally skipped that place for her tour. I believe she did play. I believe she did play in Toronto, which is just across the bridge. She was not going to perform in that stadium. After
good for her.
She was
way to go, Taylor.
I don't want to say mistreated, but I'm sure she was. She didn't really like the reception she got when she was there during the playoffs.
Yes.
All right. Let's get to the next question, Lou.
All right. So with the Cowboys and Chiefs Super Bowl history, does AT&T Stadium hold a unique historical intensity for Kansas City, even compared to division? God, these a lot of words.
These are good questions. We're scrambling here until the training camp starts.
A lot of words.
I love it.
I am not making a critical comment. It's a lot of words.
Trying to get the point. All right, Mango, lead us off, my friend.
I had to get to the point.
If I'm being completely honest,
please come on.
Please, we wouldn't want you to be any other way.
I think obviously the guys will go into that game, with respect for the Cowboys and what they are as a institution. But quite frankly, I don't think they should give a shit what they've done, and that having an effect on the game then, personally. I mean, you always go into the games with respect for your opponent, no matter who you're playing. But I don't think it has any real significance, or relative weight on the Chiefs for that particular game and go into that stadium. I mean, as far as I say, it's just two good teams playing on Thanksgiving together.
Yeah, it's a dysfunctional institution in Dallas, that's for sure. Listen, this is going to be the highest rated regular season game in NFL history. There's no question about it. It's not going to approach Super Bowl numbers, but I could see 55 million to 60 million. They have the 4:30 game. They've got the middle window. You've got three great games on Thanksgiving for the first time ever. It's never happened this way. You've never had six contention teams You've never had anything quite like this. I think what the Redskins and the Lions, if I'm not mistaken, the Chiefs and the Cowboys, and then the Ravens and the Bengals, to highlight. But for me, this has always been a rival game because it goes back to when the Chiefs were the Dallas Texans and then there were the Dallas Cowboys, the AFL versus the NFL. So it's got a lot of history. The Chiefs, for whatever reason, have not played well in Dallas. I think they've only won maybe one regular season game there. I could be mistaken. It could be mistaken.
Oh,
it could be 0. So somebody needs to look that up for me. But I think it's an important day. I think it's a historical day. I really do. Because again, these are the two long-standing storied programs. Great history. A lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. Have done it in different decades and at different times, kind of similar to the Chiefs. So for me, yes.
Yeah, obviously you've got the current America's team versus the other one, other America's team. And to speak to Nick's comment in terms of the ratings, it should be just out of this world. I mean, it could rival Super because, again, it is on a holiday. It is that middle window. Typically, that's after most people have had their huge meal for the day, and they're ready to settle in and watch a game. Now, a couple of things. Just the size of that stadium in terms of seats. It's the biggest in the NFL. I think it holds like 90,000 people. Most stadiums that they build anymore, they don't want to make them that big because they need to sell them out all the time, but they seem to be able to do it with ease. So that's one thing. So I don't know that anybody really, it's a huge home field advantage from that perspective. I think the fact that Patrick going back and playing in Texas, that's going to be a pretty big deal for him, I think. This will be his first time because I think he may have played like a high school game there. I don't know for sure. Texas Tech may have played a special game there at some point. But in terms of with the Chiefs, this will be his first time there, and it's home for him. So that'll be a pretty cool thing. So as far as intensity goes, it just doesn't seem like if you watch many Cowboys games, I mean, there's just so many. It's so big. And it seems like people are kind of far away from the field, so it's nothing like Arrowhead. So I think from the overall fan experience and the Patrick situation, I think those are the two things I think you look for in this game.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a historical moment, like Nick said. I think it's going to be something that's going to be in history made. It's just like I said, it's going to be the passing of the freaking torch. The Dallas Cowboys is not the most American team right now. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, but the stadium of the Kansas City Chiefs, I think Patrick Mahomes just playing there for the first time. The stadium how it's built, Jerry's World. It's gonna be a lot of attention for this Thanksgiving Day, and like Nick said, it's probably be the largest game, like a Super Bowl. Maybe it's a preview of the Super Bowl. Maybe it's gonna be, numbers do better numbers than this Super Bowl. You never know. But this game here, this team here is gonna actually, shows a lot of things at it was an AT&T Stadium. Historical moments, because you got one team that used to be the Chiefs used to be Dallas Texans before they moved over here. I'm correct? But they Kansas City Chiefs, and now you got the battle of the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm hoping that the Chiefs come out in the old Texas uniform for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game to make it more historical. What you had to say?
Yeah, if you recall back, I think Matt Castle was the quarterback. They wore the old Dallas Texans uniforms, and the Cowboys wore their throwbacks. That was at Arrowhead. Right. I don't know that I've ever seen the Chiefs wear an alternative uniform. That was it. That's the only time I've ever seen them wear anything alternative outside of the all reds. And even that is just, it's just their normal colors. But I don't know, Hense. What do you? I mean, if Dallas wins this game, do you think they can stake claim to being America's team again?
I think that's what they're gonna say. They're gonna say, "Well, we beat your American team, your news generator team. That everybody thinks that this Chiefs team is the American team, and the Cowboys can pull it off. They can say we own the rights. We are the boys in blue. We are the team that actually come out and get it done." I think that with that said, that statement there, Lou, I think they can probably come out and say, "Oh no, who put the bars on
wow. There? Hey now. Coach is on a cruise. Put those things away.
They all actually can come out and get this. Probably come out and get it done. With that said, I think the Chiefs will actually take this game and come out and take them like they're passing them the torch. We lost Nick there for a little bit, and he had to reboot.
So last thing on that game, because I know you've had an affinity towards George Pickens for what seems like ever since he came in the league. How do you think what he's going to mean to that offense?
Yeah, I think he's going to mean a lot. I think he's going to actually turn this team around. And while we right here, do I want to give my surprise Super Bowl 2 teams?
Well, easy now.
Way too early. Save that for the video.
It was way too early, but I'm just saying, with the key addiction, I think the Cowboys can have a chance to be that team in the NFC. Take over the Eagles' throne, knock them out of there where they don't belong at. And I think the Cowboys, all they had was problems with a number one receiver in their offensive line and Prescott, sometimes in there, but they always had, a good offense when it was all said and done. If they can get that defense fixed and George Pickens and come over there and change his attitude from the Steelers, I think he's going to add a very lot to that Dallas Cowboys team.
Fresh start, CeeDee Lamb, like a real receiver on the other side of him, a real quarterback. Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be interesting. We'll see. And of course, it's the contract year, and we know what that means.
George Pickens had 3 receptions against the Chiefs in December.
The contract year is always undefeated. So let's get into the next question, Lou.
All right. Oh my God. It's like a paragraph with a question mark at the end. All right. So, I'm going to pack a lunch here. While the Giants and Titans might not have the same recent playoff history with the Chiefs, do their stadiums carry a weight of historical significance that makes them a tough road game? I'm going to take a break now. Mango, go ahead.
Jesus Christ, man.
Go ahead, man.
I mean, Nick's back, by the way. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Go ahead, man. Go take the question.
Go back to the question slate. Need to see it.
Oh,
there's so many words.
All right. So Nashville and New Jersey.
Right.
What are we feeling?
What? I mean, mate. I mean, if we struggle against the Giants, I will be baffled. I mean, they've not had a great run in recent years. I mean, they've got a questionable, the way they're being run is not great. The coach isn't great. Shout out Mike Kafka there. Love that guy. But once again, I don't know if this historical significance you speak of is really going to play into how the team prepared, how they play during the game. To be fair, it's just another game for them.
This is not a robot. This is my wife, Nick. So don't.
Yes, I won't. I'm aware now. I remember.
Do we know the significance of the handle there?
Oh, she see hotness over here. That's what that means.
Well, I don't.
So she calls you Strawberry?
Strawberry J?
No, I'm not saying that y'all gonna be calling me on the show. No.
I okay. So it's a secret, but we know now that this is Mrs. Hense Todd.
That's right.
So,
I mean, there'll be good games. I just don't think it's going to really play into the outcome or how the players are thinking and reacting in game time. just because of the stadium they're playing in. I mean, we don't even know what the Giants and Titans are going to be this year. There's a lot of questions around both. I mean, they've got a couple good players each, but they've had good players before and have not really been able to put anything together. And like when I don't want to say when the Packers had their rough spell, like obviously Lambeau's a pretty iconic, significant stadium. But like, if you're not playing well in your stadium, I feel like it does lose a bit of that magic. So for me, I don't think it's going to play into it because the Titans and Giants just haven't been anything special recently, personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for me, again, kind of, what I was talking about playing in Dallas, the Chiefs, don't generally play well in New York, whether it's the Jets or the Giants. I mean, they did beat the Jets last time. They did their best to break that streak. I think the way that they fall on the schedule has more to do than anything else. I mean, week 3, again, the Giants are going to be, who are they, what they are, coaches on the hot seat. They made a lot of interesting choices in their offseason. A lot of things are riding on them being successful early on and competing in, I think, arguably the best, competition division in the NFL between those 4 NFC East teams. So they've got their work cut out for them. For the Titans, I think there's a little significance because if you all remember the last time the Chiefs played the Titans, they scored 11 points in the last 8 minutes to upset the Chiefs. And there was a blocked kick from a guy who was clearly offsides that thwarted the potential win for Kansas City. So I think when you look at the way that game played, the significance was the way they lost, but the other significance was that was back in the in the Super Bowl 54 year, and they ran the table after that loss, and that includes beating the San Francisco 49ers. So there's a lot of significance to that. But the way it is, the NFC Titans are going to be playing probably for the first pick in the draft again, and they may not have a whole lot to play there for. And the Chiefs, quite honestly, at that point, might just be they may have already wrapped up the division and the AFC.
Yeah, just 2 places that they've had their struggles, right? I mean, just historically, especially coming east has never been great for them. And like you said, Nick, last time they played the Jets there again, it was kind of a struggle, and they're playing against Zach Wilson, who looked like he was like finding his way that game. All of a sudden, they kind of made him look good, and the struggles they've had in Tennessee. So I don't know about if it's the location, I don't know if it's the travel, I don't know what it is or the situations surrounding the games, but those 2 teams are really in kind of a strange place. Now, if you look at the Giants, just in particular, if you just start talking about the game, just from a 10,000 foot view, they've assembled quite a defensive line. So if the Chiefs at some point, if the Chiefs by week 3 haven't kind of found the offensive line that they're going to have at the end of the year or the playoffs, that could become a little bit of a struggle because, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got Abdul Carter, you got Thibodeau, Brian Burns. So you got a hell of a pass rush there. So could be interesting. But in terms of the locations, again, there's not like a huge mystique. I think it's just one of those things. They just, in New York, always seem to have a tough time. So we'll see. It should be interesting, though, early in the season, I think, just to see how far the Chiefs' offensive line has come versus a significantly sized defensive line, which didn't work out so well in the Super Bowl.
Does this look like it could be, I think it could be a tough 2 teams. A lot of people in the stadium, I know they share the stadium. But again, it could be a tough outcome because every time the Chiefs does go over there, I remember since I've been watching the Chiefs, they have like a tough time with the New York teams, the Giants or the Jets, like Nick and Lou stated to. But these two teams are on the rise, right? You got the Giants are on the rise, the Jets are rebuilding. They got a quarterback over there as well, and they building a whole Iowa State offense over there. We with the Jets as well. And on Mango's take on the Tennessee Titans, the Titans, hey, I feel like they're gonna be a tough out too. I feel like their fan base was one of those ones up there as well, you know, besides the Seahawks as well. But other than that, man, I feel like this is gonna be a historic moment for the Kansas City Chiefs in a tough road schedule when it's all said and done. You know what I mean? You got the Chargers, the New York Giants, the Jacksonville Jaguars. We didn't mention them, the Buffalo Bills, Denver, Dallas, Tennessee, and the Vegas Raiders. And these are all teams that, you know what I mean, besides Denver and Buffalo and Dallas, the other three, you know what I mean, is up in there. You can see where they can come from. And these are the teams that can be surprising on the road with the Chiefs, can make it a tough road environment when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, you know, if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, I think in 2027, you're going to have the most beautiful state-of-the-art stadium that's ever been created for an NFL team.
Mhm.
It is just beyond anything I've ever seen. It doesn't matter, but I'm just pointing that out.
Yeah, it's a destination. Nashville is a destination.
Oh, Nashville's a great city. That's
so
amazing.
You know, to have a place like that, and that to me would be, I mean, that's certainly pointing towards a Super Bowl city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, come on. We appreciate you jumping in. Ligma.
Don't even go there.
But I just wish for today Coach was here, because he might be having a lot of fun with this guy's handle. But yeah, anyway, we appreciate you jumping in, watching.
Yeah, adios.
That's German, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. It's no longer applicable.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. We don't use that kind of language here on our show.
Wow, he's not using it. I almost did. But
no, he is using it. I know a few German words, and there's a couple in there we don't need.
So with that said, man, that was
stadium, man.
Right, you talking about the stadium. Nick kicked them out. You could not be kicking people out.
Sorry.
Let us stay in there. But you know, I see the comment, but yeah, I think the Chiefs are here to stay whenever it's all said and done. But these are going to be some. This is probably the toughest schedule that they in the NFL so far, and plus all them prime time games as well. So
seven.
So
pull up the away schedule again.
Yeah, it always kind of looks that way, you know, coming in, but I don't know. I mean, the reason you get a schedule like this is because you're winning a lot and winning your division. And then depending on who you play, now they are playing the NFC East, which obviously, as Nick was saying, in terms of competitive wise, I believe they and the AFC West, it's going to be a battle with you. I mean, it'll be interesting, those games every time they play. Right. I mean, all up and down, 4 versus 4. I think those are going to be, you know, really good games.
He's back.
But, you know, but Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, we don't know what they're going to be. Is Lawrence really is his game going to evolve under another new coach? Hopefully it does.
Well, I think he's got the right coach.
He plays, you know, Cam Ward. He's a rookie, so we'll see what happens there. You know, at some point, you know, Jackson Dart, is he going to be their starter beginning of the year? Probably not. You're probably going to see Russ, maybe Jameis. So so it's not that difficult, I don't think. Right.
Well,
you got some tough games. Obviously, I mean, you're going to play Buffalo. You're going to play Baltimore. You're going to all the division winners, Houston, the AFC East one, the divisional game. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but I don't know if it's the toughest. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the toughest. I think there's 2 losses. I think Buffalo and Denver are going to be the 2 losses. I think the Chiefs
back to back off the bye, going into the bye, off the bye, and straight to a loss.
Coach Reed losing off the bye. Wow.
Yeah, I think the Bills and the Broncos are going to win those games.
That's Nick's early statement there, but I don't believe that. But again, you know what I mean? Looking at that schedule, it could be tough, but like Lou stated to. It looks tough coming in, but when they face the Chiefs, it looked like well done steak when they done with it. So, hey, What is all said and done, guys, we want to thank you guys for joining in. This was our show for today. We'll be back on Friday. Thank everybody else for joining in too. What's his name? I don't know. I can't understand the language there.
We'll just go LB for now.
LB. Nice.
I think he's saying unofficial America's team. So there you go.
I think Lou is the best, ain't he? So with that said, let's we'll see you guys Friday at 1:30 Kansas City time. And we didn't see Kareem. We thought we would see Kareem today. He wasn't here today.
Yeah, he was awfully busy the other night online.
He was, yeah.
He's putting in work. He's putting in work.
He's
he just
definitely
didn't show up
work
today, but yeah.
So with that said, guys, we see you guys Friday.
All right, guys, peace out.